Your doctor might tell you genetics determine how long you'll live, but what if I told you that's only half the story? While your genes play a role, I've studied hundreds of people who've lived past 100 and discovered 10 specific habits that could add decades to your life, even if longevity doesn't run in your family. The third one shocked even my research team. The number of centenarians is skyrocketing from about 100,000 today to over 420,000 in the next 30. But here's what nobody's talking. These aren't just lucky people who won the genetic lottery. Science now shows that how you live matters just as much as, if not more than, what genes you inherited. Today I'm breaking down the 10 habits that seniors who consistently live longer all share. Researching longevity, and these aren't just theories. They're backed by studies from Harvard, the Albert Einstein College of Medicine. Habit number 1, revolutionize your diet. Picture this. You're at your favorite restaurant and the waiter brings a plate that's practically hanging off the edges. We've been programmed to think bigger is better, but your body is screaming the opposite. Let me introduce you to the Mediterranean approach. Not just a diet, but a complete reset of how we think about food. It's less about restriction and more about abundance of the right thing. Colorful vegetables, fruits that actually taste like fruits, whole grains that haven't been processed into oblivion, and fats that love your heart back. The American Heart Association isn't exactly known for jumping on diet trends, yet they're practically shouting from rooftops about this eating style. Why? Because it's shown to reduce heart disease risk by 30%, slash stroke risk by 42%, and even improve cognitive function. Here's the kicker. Seniors who follow this pattern aren't just living longer, they're spending fewer years battling chronic illness. The average Mediterranean diet follower gains 7.8 years of disease-free living. That's not just adding years to life, it's adding life to years. And no, you don't need to move to Greece. Start by swapping one meal a day with Mediterranean principles. Your grandkids will thank you and you're still outpacing them at 95. But what if I told you that what you put in your mouth is only half the equation? The other half involves something our ancestors did naturally that most of us have engineered out of our lives. Habit number 2, movement as medicine. We've been sold the myth that exercise means sweating in spandex at a gym. Forget that nonsense. Just 15 minutes of movement daily could extend your life by years. That's right, the time it takes to watch one commercial break could be adding years to your life. Research shows people meeting the baseline recommendation, 150 minutes of moderate activity weekly, have up to 21% lower risk of checking out early. But here's what most fitness gurus won't tell you. For seniors, balance exercises might be even more crucial than cardio. A groundbreaking study tracked seniors over 10 years and found something remarkable. Those who could stand on one leg for 10 seconds had a significantly mortality risk. Not their cholesterol numbers, not their BMI. Their balance was the predictor. Think about it. What's the leading cause of hospitalization for people over 65? Falls. And what prevents falls? Balance. Your body is literally telling you what it needs to keep going. Try this right now. If you're able, stand up, one foot slightly off the ground. Having trouble? That's your body sending an urgent message about your longevity. Start small. 5 minutes of gentle movement after each meal. Walk to your mailbox and back. Stand up during commercial breaks. Dance in your kitchen. Your body doesn't care what it looks like, it just wants to move. Now that we've got you moving, let's talk about something that might be moving through your system that's silently stealing years from your life. Habit number 3, alcohol reality check. Remember when doctors supposedly recommended a glass of red wine daily? Well, the science has sobered up. The latest research from over 700,000 people worldwide shows even moderate drinking chips away at your longevity. Here's the truth nobody wants to hear. There is no safe amount of alcohol when it comes to longevity. Each daily drink beyond 0 increases mortality risk by about 7%. That glass of wine with dinner, it's essentially borrowing time for future self. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a teetotaler overnight, but understanding the real impact matters. Heavy drinking is linked to over 200 health conditions, from the obvious liver issues to surprising ones like osteoporosis and immune dysfunction. What's particularly concerning for our age group is the interaction between alcohol and medications. That nightcap might be making your blood pressure medication less effective or amplifying your sleep aids to dangerous levels. If you do drink, try tracking your consumption for just 1 week. Most people underestimate by 30%. And consider alternating alcoholic drinks with sparkling water or exploring the exploding market of sophisticated non-alcoholic options. They've come a long way from plain club soda. Speaking of substances that impact longevity, there's another common habit that might be more dangerous than you realize, even if you gave it up decades ago. Habit number 4, the tobacco truth. You already know smoking is bad, But did you know your body starts repairing itself within 20 minutes of your last cigarette? Even if you've smoked for 40 years, quitting at 65 can add up to 4 years to your life. The healing power of the human body is nothing short of miraculous. But here's what's concerning: the rise of what I call nostalgia nicotine. Those occasional cigars at special events, the pipe you dust off when the grandkids visit, even that harmless electronic cigarette you switch to. The American Lung Association has confirmed they all accelerate cellular aging. And it's not just your lung. Tobacco use decreases circulation including blood flow to the brain. Studies show ex-smokers who've been tobacco-free for 10+ years have cognitive functions nearly identical to never smoke. Your mind stays sharper, longer. If you're still using any tobacco products, talk to your doctor about modern cessation options. They're far more effective than the cold turkey approaches of decades past. And if you've already quit, congratulations. Your body is thanking you with extra years already. Now let's address something that's visible in the mirror, but impacts far more than appearance. Habit number 5, weight wisdom. We've been obsessed with weight for all the wrong reasons. Forget appearance, let's talk longevity. Being significantly overweight or underweight can subtract up to 4 years from your life expectancy. But the relationship between weight and longevity isn't as straightforward as you might think. For seniors, being slightly heavier than the ideal BMI can actually be protective. They call it the obesity paradox. People over 65 with a BMI between 25 and 29 often outlive those in the normal range. Why? Because that extra reserve provides crucial resources during illness or stress. What matters more than the number on the scale is where you carry your weight. Abdominal fat, that classic apple shape, produces inflammatory compounds that accelerate aging at the cellular level. Measuring your waist circumference might be more important than weighing yourself. And dramatic weight fluctuations, those cycles of losing and regaining, stress your cardiovascular system more than maintaining a consistent weight, even if that weight is higher than ideal. The sweet spot? Find a weight where your chronic conditions are manageable, your mobility is maintained, and your blood work looks good to your doctor. That's your personal longevity weight, regardless of what height-weight charts suggest. But even with perfect weight management, there's another factor stealing years from millions of seniors every night I think they're resting. Habit number 6, sleep revolution. We've been fed the myth that poor sleep is just part of aging. Nonsense. Poor sleep isn't normal at any age. It's a warning sign your body is screaming for help. Let's talk sleep apnea. Nearly 20% of seniors stop breathing dozens of times hourly while sleeping, each episode triggering a stress response that ages your cardiovascular system. And most don't know they have it. If you wake up tired after a full night's sleep, or your partner mentions snoring, get checked immediately. But quality sleep goes beyond breathing. Your brain literally washes itself during deep sleep, flushing out proteins linked to dementia. Skip this nightly cleaning, and those proteins, 1 week of poor sleep can temporarily increase Alzheimer's-related proteins by up to 30%. Here's my 3-step longevity sleep. First, consistent schedule, same bedtime and wake time, even weekend. Second, darkness. Complete darkness triggers melatonin production. Those little electronic lights in your bedroom, they're aging you. Third, temperature. Your brain needs to cool down to trigger deep sleep. The ideal bedroom temperature is cooler than most people think, about 65 degrees Fahrenheit, 18 degrees Celsius. And contrary to popular belief, seniors don't need less sleep. We still need 7 to 8 hours for optimal longevity. What changes is our sleep architecture, making environment even more critical. While you're working on sleeping better alone, there's something equally important you need to be doing with others. Habit number 7, relationship medicine. Harvard researchers spent 85 years and millions of dollars to discover something your grandmother probably could have told them for free. Good relationships keep you alive long. This wasn't some small study. They followed nearly 300 Harvard men from 1938 throughout their lives, measuring everything from blood work to brain scan. The conclusion was stunning. The quality of your relationships at 50 is a better predictor of health at 80 than cholesterol levels or other physical matters. But here's the part that's revolutionary. It's not about having lots of friends, or even a spouse. It's about meaningful connection. 1 or 2 people you can truly count on increases longevity more than dozens of casual acquaintances. And the benefits are physical, not just emotional. Strong relationships reduce inflammatory markers, improve immune function, and even help your body process stress hormones more efficiently. The isolation epidemic among seniors is arguably more dangerous than smoking. People with strong social connections have a 50% increased likelihood of survival compared to those who are isolated. Start small. Reconnect with one person weekly. Join one group based on genuine interest, not obligation. Quality trumped quantity in every longevity metric in the Harvard study. These relationships do something else critical for longevity. They help manage the silent killer that's accelerating aging in nearly every senior. Habit number 8. Stress mastery. We've normalized stress to the point where being constantly wound up feels normal. It's not. Chronic stress floods your system with cortisol, literally shortening the telomeres at the end of your chromosomes, the biological equivalent of aging your cells faster. But here's what's fascinating. It's not the stressors themselves, but how you respond to them that determines their impact on longevity. People who view stress as enhancing rather than debilitating show completely different physiological responses. Their blood vessels stay relaxed, their heart patterns remain coherent. This explains why some people thrive into their 90s, despite living through wars, depressions, and personal tragedy. It's not that they avoided stress, it's that they processed it different. The most powerful stress management technique I've found in longevity research isn't meditation or yoga, though those help. It's purpose. Having a reason to get up in the morning buffers the physiological effects of stress by giving it Try this. Next time you feel stressed, ask, will this matter in 5 years? If not, your body doesn't need to mount a full stress response. And for the stressors that will matter, channel that energy into purposeful action rather. Your telomeres will thank you. If managing stress adds years to your life, this next habit might seem counterintuitive because it involves thinking like someone much younger than. Habit number 9, youth mindset. In a fascinating study, researchers took a group of 70-something men and immersed them in an environment that mimicked 1959. From music to newspapers to discussion. After just 1 week, their biological markers of aging had reversed. Blood pressure dropped, grip strength improved, and cognitive tests showed dramatic improvement. What happened? Their brains received environmental cues that they were younger, and their bodies followed suit. This isn't wishful thinking. It's neuroplasticity and epigenetics in action. The seniors who live longest don't act their age. They selectively maintain youthful habits that keep their neurological pathways firing. They learn new skills despite the initial frustration. They pursue play without self-consciousness. They laugh a lot. Laughter triggers endorphin release that strengthens immune function and reduces inflammatory markers. One habit I recommend: regularly put yourself in situations where you're a beginner. That uncomfortable feeling of incompetence? It's creating new neural pathways that keep your brain from aging. Take dance lesson, learn a language, try a new technology without asking your grandkids for help, at least not immediately. And here's the secret. Your chronological age is far less important than your subjective age. People who feel younger than their years typically live 7.5 years longer than those who identify strongly. But feeling younger only works if you have something that gets you out of bed each morning. Which brings us to perhaps the most powerful longevity habit of all. Habit number 10, purpose power. We've saved the most potent for last. Having a clear purpose in life doesn't just make your remaining years more meaningful, it literally extends them. A study of nearly 7,000 adults, published in JAMA, found that people with a strong life purpose had a substantially lower risk of dying during the study, regardless of their age. What constitutes purpose? It's different for everyone, but it requires 2 elements: something you care about deeply, and some action you take regularly that serves that concern. It could be family, community, causes, creative expression, or spiritual. The physiological effects are remarkable. Purpose reduces inflammatory markers, improves cardiovascular function, and even impacts gene expression related to immune function. Your body literally functions better when you have a reason to keep functioning. Many seniors make the mistake of thinking purpose has to be grand or world-changing. It doesn't. Sometimes the most powerful purpose is simply being fully present who matter to you, or mastering something that brings you joy, leaving some corner of the world slightly better than you found it. If you're struggling to identify your purpose, start with contribution. Where can you give something? Wisdom, time, skills, presence that matters to someone else. That connection between what you uniquely offer and what the world genuinely needs is where purpose lives. These 10 habits aren't just about adding years to your life. They're about adding life to your youth. The Mediterranean diet that nourishes rather than just feeds you. Movement that maintains independence. Understanding the real impact of alcohol and tobacco. Managing weight for function, not appearance. Revolutionizing your sleep. Building relationships that sustain you. Mastering stress rather than being mastered by it. Maintaining a youthful mindset. And perhaps most importantly, living with genuine purpose. The science is clear. Longevity isn't just luck or genetics. It's the accumulation of thousands of small choices. Seniors who master these habits don't just live longer, they live better, with more independence, clarity, and joy in a decade.